got the video recording. We got audio almost ready. There we go. It's recording. All right. Test 1, 2. Oh, excellent. This is all good. Everything's pointing north here. Let's see. Okay, good deal. All right, here we go. It begins in 3, 2, 1.
I hope you're not taking it out on your wife.
What? I would never hurt my wife.
That's not the rumor I started.
I hope that you get ran over.
The morning stream. I wonder what kind of world we're opening the door on.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to TMS. It's the morning stream for February 1st, 2023. I'm Scott Johnson. Today, with Bobby Frankenberger. Hello, Bobby.
Hello. Thank you for welcoming me.
Well, you know, you're always welcome. Bobby's here sitting in for Brian because he's got a physical therapy back thing today. Got a last-second appointment and was like, oh, it's going to be Wednesday. What can we do? And I said, I'll bet Bobby can. And then you said yes, and then everything was fine. So,
and that's what happened.
Yeah.
That's
the story.
Truth.
That is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. We're glad to be here. Nice to see you all. There's a few things going on today. Of course, the usual. We got Tom later. We got recommentals after that. Bobby, you even sent in a recommental. Fantastic.
I sure did. I was prepared this time.
Yeah, good job. I think all four of us, I think Randy and Nicole will be here today, so we got full house on that.
Full house.
Yep, so that'll be fun. In the meantime, I just want to share, well, a short story with you people, all right?
Gather round.
Gather around the fire. You're all, okay, chat room, you're already here, so settle in. You know, in fact, you know what? Let's get a little something here that's
you have any story time music?
We usually use this on Core, but I'll use it today. It's the Dear Martha music from your average Ken Burns documentary, and I'd like to share this interaction I had on Twitter. All right, here it is. Somebody posted the following, and I replied to it, so I'll read what the first poster posted. Just because you have a piece of paper saying that you're an American doesn't mean that you have equal claim to this country, or as those who can trace their ancestry on this land back to before the government that gave you that paper.
So this is just setting the scene for what the following conversation would be, right?
Yeah, and then I replied to it with a very simple reply. My reply was, Native Americans were here first.
Right.
Not even looking for a fight, just kind of pointing out there's a flaw in your weird xenophobic tweet about, you know, if you're an immigrant to this country, like my brother, he got his naturalization when he was like 12 or something. That he has any, you know, more or less claim, quote unquote, claim to this country than this guy does. And so I just wanted to point that out that, like, you know, there were things before, certainly before you were born, you weirdo. Anyway, so that's my only reply. I just said Native Americans were here first. That's it. Yeah. Left it in the ether. Some stranger I don't even know him just was in my timeline. I get a reply. From a separate dude, not the same dude, different dude.
Oh, this is a third person. A new challenger has entered.
A new challenger has entered the arena.
Yeah.
And he says this. Then why didn't they found the U.S., build ports and cities? Okay, so that was his question. And I replied in a way that you might not be surprised how I replied. I replied thusly.
Good point. That's what
Wow, I'm blown away by your knowledge. I said, I have read a lot of incredibly stupid things on the internet since 1994. And I have to say, in those 28 years or so, I have never read anything this stupid. Truly, the new level of shit right here, I said to him. So again, poking the bear a little bit. I probably shouldn't be doing this. I try not to, but I was super annoyed by this answer.
Sometimes you can't help yourself.
Because when you say something like, well, how about the indigenous people who were here before, and their answer is, why didn't they found U.S., build ports and cities then? How come they didn't? How come they didn't invent beer? Like, what are you even talking? What are you even saying? Right? It's so profoundly stupid. I couldn't not answer. Right. So he replies. After I said that, he says, why didn't they build a single port? He's really hung up on ports.
This is what that person said, right?
Yeah, he's really hung up on ports. I'm guessing he's got
Why didn't they build a single port?
Yeah, he's probably got like 5 USB hubs at home because he just has to have more ports, all the ports. Anyway, my answer to him was, keep digging. Use this. It will make it faster. And I attached a picture of a shovel. All right.
Right.
So I was getting a little snarky there.
Mm-hmm.
Johnson snark. Yeah. Then he replied to me with the following. And oh, geez. That's not supposed to play so loud. I apologize. He replied to me with the following. He says, oh, no. Then I added to that. Oh, and change your this utter horseshit at your earliest convenience, and then an attachment that was a picture of his profile where he was describing himself as a sensible centrist.
Oh, shots fired. You're saying you're calling him out.
I'm not even saying centrist is the problem. I'm saying sensible is the problem, because what are you, that is some horseshit right there. So then he writes, can you actually state an argument? I said, can you? He said, where are the ports?
Where are the ports?
Where
Show
are the
me
ports?
The ports?
And then I said, that's not an argument. And I linked a definition to argument on Merriam-Webster dictionary. He's not replied as of this reading. So
maybe he really didn't know what an argument was.
He might not. Maybe this whole time, he just didn't know. I don't know. Look, man, I try to stay out of really stupid conversations where clearly I'm dealing with somebody who's either really young or just trolling or whatever it is. Like, it doesn't even matter.
Right.
But this one just got under my skin. It just annoyed me.
What is it about ports? Does like a port does the country the port make?
I don't know. Like the idea that if you don't have, all right, let's say you've got, I don't know, take any time or era, and is the complaint if you have ports you're great, if you don't have ports you're not, and therefore, like here you go. How about this? We are who we are now. And let's say somebody comes to this country with some vastly superior technology or whatever it may be. They come to the shore with it, although they'd come by air probably. But whatever it is, whatever equivalent to, explorers hitting North America and Central America back then, whatever that equivalent would be today, whatever superiority they would have. And they came here and they went, oh, well, the people are already here, no big deal. We're just gonna, given our strength and our guns and our willingness to shove them to the side, we're just gonna push them all into what we'll call reservations or whatever, little zones around the country. And then let's say he's one of those dudes in a modern version of this. Mm-hmm. So now what's your argument now? You know what I'm saying? You were second level indigenous because you were born here. Okay, fine. I'll give you that. But now you've been pushed into this hole too. So, and the new guys are going, well, it's ours now, and now we're going to build spaceports. And
they're going to build spaceports. Why didn't you build a spaceport? If this was your country, where's your spaceport?
Right, exactly. And then what's your argument? Like it's just so narrow of a view, of a point of view that I couldn't let it go. So this is two things. This is me confessing that I broke my own rule this year. I was not going to engage in this kind of bullshit at all. I was going to avoid it.
Yeah.
But man, I don't know why this one just jumped out at me. Couldn't have been
And does
dumber.
he think it in the reverse direction? Does this person think that if you want to found a country, all you have to do is build a port?
Yeah, see, that's weird to me. Because you could argue there are lots of countries in the world that don't have any, what is even a port? What does that mean, a port? Does he mean trade? Does he mean, like, there's no nuance to this dude's brain. Or he's just trolling hard, and it's entirely possible that he is, okay? And that I fell for a troll. I'm not saying it's not possible. This stuff's happened before. But it didn't matter. This is one of those interactions where I was just like, if I'd have met this person in real life, I would have had this. I would have had to have had this conversation. Like in a restaurant, if I overheard someone behind me going, well, if you didn't have ports or cities, then you don't belong here, or whatever, I would have turned around and said something.
Yeah, I think we can get some insight onto this person's, where they're thinking just at the very beginning. You said Native Americans were here first, and the first thing they said is, then why didn't they found the U.S.?
Yeah, why didn't they found the U.S.?
As if the United States is like an inevitability.
Well, see, all right, no, I think you touched on it. I think you touched on this. What's that divine, or no, what's the name of it? There's a term for this.
Oh, the manifest destiny?
Manifest destiny People get that in their head really hardcore, partly because it's been pounded into their head really hardcore for years. And the older I get, the more I realize that's an insidious little thing that gets under your skin and just starts to eat away at your morality. And I hate it. I freaking hate it because I love my country. I love the United States of America. I love living here. I'm glad I was born here. I like a lot of things about it. We got our problems, but I'm a proud American. But I'm not stupid as dirt like Mr. Ports and Cities over here. I can look at things realistically and make an honest assessment of our own complicated history. It's not that hard, you know?
Right.
Anyway.
Also, they probably did have ports.
Yeah, probably did. They probably had coastal
they were just
stuff.
Small fishing ports.
Right.
Like, they didn't have giant cities.
Yeah, neither did we when we got here, by the way.
Right,
like, we didn't just show up and go, New York, poof! There it is. Look at New York with its shining, glistening, tall things and whatnots. That didn't happen. We didn't do that. So they just have this idea in their heads. It's all in their heads. Yeah. It's this made-up freaking story. And I don't know why they don't have a moment in their life where they're sitting there, pouring over a burger and fries and just think to themselves, well, wait a minute. Maybe it's more nuanced than I think it is. They don't have that moment. And they're going to grow into be a grumpy old piece of shit sitting in their lazy boy, yelling at the TV, convinced that this has always been the way.
Right.
Annoys me. And that's true. New York was once New Amsterdam, but very briefly.
Yeah.
As we've learned from
why they changed it, I can't say.
It's because the Giants showed up.
People just liked it better that way.
Yeah. Anyway, so start you off in a trolly mood, but I also got a text about Bobby or for Bobby. All right.
I love it when you get these.
Yeah, they're great because you deal in science discussion when you're on the show, and so I think a lot of people, if they hear anything that goes off their version of the wagon, they want to pipe in. I'm not sure this is what that is, but anyway, here it is. Let's read this thing. Came to us at 801-471-0462. Here's a TMS comment. Bobby was talking about a rudder on his airplane. Mm-hmm. I work at
just yesterday.
Yeah, exactly. And I guess it's not technically your airplane. It's an airplane.
That's correct.
It's the one you fly. Is it always the same when you go on there?
It is always the same one. They have a trainer airplane that they use, and so it is always the same one. But you're right. It's not my airplane. I'm just renting it when I'm using it.
And when you do, is that on purpose that it's always familiar and you're not working in different environments and stuff like that?
Oh, I'm sure. This is a smaller flight school right now, so they only have the one trainer airplane. So I don't know how it's always done at other schools, but I would assume that they like to keep you in the same plane if they have more than one.
That would make sense, right? Because the controls are going to be just a little different.
And you want to get good at one set before you start like throwing around a bunch of different kinds.
That's right. All those the very different flavors you can get of plane.
Yeah, lots of different flavors.
That's right. So it says, I work at Gulfstream where we build aircraft. Gulfstream's I guess an aircraft manufacturer. Why do I not know this? Mm-hmm. Is that a name I should know? I guess I should know that. I don't know that.
Yeah, it's pretty big one. I
always just think of Boeing. What's the British Airways? I guess British Airways.
Yeah, they make jets. A lot of private jets are Gulfstreams. So
yeah, for some
like
whatever reason, I've heard
G700, the G500, all those G planes.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that. I'd heard the term Gulfstream. I didn't know they made. I don't know why I didn't know that. It's weird. Anyway, so they make private jets and stuff. Anyway, says I had just started in the accounting department, and my boss asked me to email a guy about the rudder from an earlier meeting. I had no idea about airplanes yet. Oh, that must have been a little scary. My email referenced the rudder. And that guy sent my boss and I an email that the new guy needed to know how to spell parts of the plane because he spelled it Rutter instead of Rudder.
Right, exactly. It's got D's, not T's.
Yeah. So the typo frightened him, I guess. Anyway, needs to know. Let's see. He got me. Oh, gave me a hard time for that for years. Still at Gulfstream over 23 years, and I will research parts in the system before I screw up again. Well, that's good to hear. That's good to hear.
That's very funny and probably was very embarrassing.
Yeah. No, right? I agree. Yeah. Do you ever want to... Okay, is there a future where Bobby's flying a private plane? You know,
Like my own plane that I own?
well, no, like you're hired to like by I don't know, you're flying Post Malone around the country or something like that. Something
So
weird like
I would
that.
love to. You'd have to be a commercial pilot with a commercial license to. If you're a private pilot, so there's basically 3 general levels of pilot licensing, and they're the private pilot. There's more than this, I will say. So save your emails, people. I do know that there are more than this. But there's a private pilot, there's a commercial pilot, and then there's an ATP pilot, which is an airline transport pilot.
Okay.
So the highest level is airline transport. That's you're flying for the airlines. But a commercial pilot is anybody who gets paid to fly a plane. So as a private pilot with only a private pilot's license, I cannot fly a plane for money. It's illegal.
Oh,
And,
I didn't know that. That seems
yeah.
a little harsh. How do they ever get pilots then? How's that work?
Well, you just have to you just have to go and get your commercial license. It's more training. It's maybe the next step after you're a private pilot, you'd usually get an instrument rating after that, and then many people go on after an instrument rating to get their commercial license.
Okay.
And it's just you're learning to be more proficient and an expert at flying.
Okay. That makes sense.
But I would love to be a commercial pilot. Actually, I think it would be really amazing to get to fly and get paid to do the thing that I love doing. But you have to have vision that is corrected to 20/20. You can still be blind in one eye. That's fine. But in the vision that you do have, it has to be corrected to 20/20, and it's not clear. Most doctors have told me that my vision can only be corrected to 20/25 because of just a defect in my eye, because I have what's called a nystagmus. It moves around, it shakes.
Oh yeah. So that's
yeah,
interesting.
and
So that's too much of a variation. That seems pretty slight. It's not very much.
Yeah, and I do want to get to my eye doctor and say, look, I'm not going to be devastated if I can't get a commercial license. It's always I've always thought that I won't be able to, but I want to go to my doctor and be like, look, is there anything that is possible to do to correct this to 20/20? Just because if it is possible, then maybe I would start thinking in that direction. But if it's not, I want to know so I can stop. Just so that's a door I can close.
Yeah, you can just say, well, all right, I can't do that.
Right.
I'm surprised.
Yeah, like I said, it won't break my heart or anything because I assume that I can't.
Okay.
But I would like to.
So the 20/20, this is a dumb question. I'm going to get heat for this. The 20/20 thing is per eye. It's not both eyes somehow. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes. Yeah. Because 20/20, the two numbers don't refer to the two eyes. It refers to how close you have to be in order to see the same things that a person with perfect vision can see at a different so a better example, instead of thinking about it 20/20, to understand what it means, is it's easier to think about non-perfect vision. So if your vision is 20/30,
yeah,
then what a person with 20/20 vision can stand and see at 30 feet away, you have to stand 20 feet away to see the same thing.
Oh, it's feet? I didn't know that.
I don't know if it's feet. It might just be. I don't think it matters if it's feet or meters
or whatever,
or anything, because it's really just a ratio.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So if you have 20/50 vision, then what you can see, what you have to be 20 feet away from to see, someone else with 20/20 vision could be 50 feet away from it to see.
Well, the good news is this: you have better eyesight with one eye than I have in both my eyes total.
What's yours?
I don't remember the number, but it's not even anywhere close to 20/25. I mean, it's good enough to see for what I need to do for functioning, but if I needed to fly a plane, I don't think they'd let me. I'd be like, what's that? Oh, it's a bird. Where's it going? Right into our engine. Oh, no, I was wrong. It's a freaking Russian MiG, and we're all going to die. Like, I think I would misread things. I don't know. Like, it's it's definitely a distance thing, right? Like, you want to be able to see far enough. Like close enough.
Yeah.
You got guys in that cockpit are like 60-year-old pilots who, they got atrophied muscle movement in their eyes, so they still got the good long distance, but they got to use, readers for short stuff.
Yeah, honestly, it's not as much about seeing things that are far away, which seems counterintuitive because you're giving the example of a plane out in the distance. It's about seeing the instruments in front of you and stuff inside the plane.
Oh, that's more important? Well, I'd be okay
Yeah,
with
that's
it then.
yeah.
I might make it because I think I can do. Well, I don't know. It might not be 2020, but I think I can do 2020-ish right here, like instrument distance.
And you can be a private pilot with 2020-ish.
Oh, that's true because you're just getting hired like a contractor and off you go.
Well, you're not. You can't get paid at all as a private. And it's funny because you have to be careful about that. Some people will like get together and like I could say like me and some friends be like, hey, let's go on a trip.
Yeah.
I'll fly us in my plane if I had one.
Yeah.
Or I'll rent a plane and we'll go, and everybody pitch in for fuel and for the rental costs and all that kind of stuff. You have to be really careful because if the FAA for some reason decides to view that as them paying you to fly them, then you can get in trouble.
Oh. So wait, so how does like Post Malone's got a private jet? How does he pay the guy that flies it? You know what I mean?
The person who's flying it is probably a commercial pilot, so they can be paid to fly.
Okay, I get it now. But you can't just like
that's the main distinction between private and commercial pilot.
Okay. So that's just a gig for them, like it would be working for Delta. It's just a different gig.
Yeah, exactly. You're just like a limo driver.
Okay.
They often even call the airline transport pilots, they call them bus drivers.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh man. That seems derogatory somehow. I don't know why.
Yeah, it's funny that I don't think they like being called that, but the airline pilots are definitely viewed as like the high echelon, the upper echelon of pilots. You have to the industry standard is you cannot even, they won't even consider you to be a pilot at an airline if you don't have at least 2,500 hours of flight time.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah.
That's almost as much time as I spent in Skyrim one time. Hey, anyway, let's do this now. Coughing as I spent so much time on that treadmill. Look who's joining us all the way from another part of South Carolina. It's Brian Dunaway. Hi, Brian.
Oh, hi, Scott and Bobby.
Oh, hi.
Hey,
what's
Brian.
going on?
How are you
man?
guys doing today?
Pretty good. What are you doing?
Doing well. I'm looking out the
Cool.
window and seeing that the weather's not too bad today. How's it in your neck of the woods?
Not too bad. It's supposed to rain all week, and I'm only seeing sunshine.
That's right. Holding it down here in South Carolina.
How? What's the temperature right now?
Around
I
a
don't
little
go
too
outside.
warm for me, really. Yeah, it's around. I went for a walk earlier. It was in the 60s with the sun beating down. My light jacket turned into a sweat box.
Yeah, you
yeah.
bastards! It's 17 degrees here.
Yeah.
I would not have that experience. Here, so.
Aww.
Yeah, although it's hotter in Alaska, Ethan says Ethan Kane, aka.
Give it a
our
couple
good-
months. You'll be laughing at us.
Okay, I'm looking forward to it. Well, it's good to have you here, Brian. We're gonna play a game. It's a little different than we usually do. We're gonna call it Bobby's Game or something. I don't know. It sounds like
Bobby's
Game.
a book or it sounds like a book or a movie. Anyway, we're gonna do that. Oh, I'm thinking of Gerald's Game. That's why it sounds familiar. Anyway, this is nothing like Gerald's Game.
And Bobby's World.
Yeah, nobody's going to tie anybody up and then die of a heart attack and leave you to starve on a bed. Okay, that's not going to happen here.
Let's just wait.
Don't count it out yet. Yeah.
Here's the fun part about this, though. We're not taking live calls, but we are going to ask that if you want to win the prizes I'm going to send out, which I'll tell you about in a second, then you need to send me a DM in Discord. I'm going to take the sixth person, number 6.
Just slide into Scott's
Slide
DMs.
into my DMs, and that person will receive a Frog Pants print and sticker pack, and I will send it anywhere in the world, absolutely free. And it will include one of these new Lake Run stickers featuring Bo Schwartz of the Core Podcast jumping into a lake to take a dump.
No.
These
I'm
are very
disturbed.
Do you have any listeners who are doing research in Antarctica?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe. I bet we could ask. Hey, any listeners?
That'd be hard to send it to there.
Yeah, it would be hard to send it to there. But even if they are, I think it'll go anywhere we send it. I think anywhere that has a receiving address, I think I can do it. Even if it costs money, I don't care. We're doing it. So if you want to win that, you got to be the number 6. We'll watch for that in a second. But in the meantime, Bobby's got a game for us. Bobby, how does this work, and how are we going to do it?
It's a simple game. I'm going to present Scott and Brian Dunaway with statements that might be true or false, and they have to decide which one it is. I'll keep score. You're going to take turns,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll see who can logic out the most correct answers.
Okay. I like
Who
Brian's.
can 50-50 the best?
Yeah.
Yeah, who can flip coins the most
All right.
best.
Because isn't the
most
rule
accurately.
The thing with coin flipping is you do it long enough, you end up with a perfect 50-50.
With an average.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
That's
how
Well,
coins
as long
work.
as the coin is all equal. I mean,
If it's a
isn't one
fair
side of the
coin.
coin heavier? Right, if it's a fair coin.
Yeah. What's a not fair coin? Like a weighted one or something?
Coin that might be weighted more on one side than the other could have imperfections that could skew the statistics a little bit.
But
you
aren't
know,
all coins
much-
the U.S. Mint doesn't go through trouble to try to make sure a quarter is exactly weighted properly with the head side.
Well, I
and the tail
know,
side.
but I mean, you've ever gotten a quarter in your pocket and like, wait a minute, what's wrong with this quarter? Looks like it got ran over by something, or you know.
yeah, the ones that are flat on one side, sure, I get that.
Or the ones that have
Yeah.
heads on both sides, joke coins.
Oh yeah, joke coins. Those are good. I could use a joke coin. Anyway, let's see if we can joke our way through these coins. Bobby, lay it on us. What's our first card? I guess we're
I'll
going back
keep
and
asking
forth.
questions, and we'll go through it. You tell me when we've got time for one more, because I'm not keeping track of the time.
Okay, that's cool.
And we'll see.
All
So
right.
the first one will go to. I'm gonna flip a coin in my head, and it will go to Brian Dunaway.
All right.
Do it.
All right. Here's the statement. You tell me if this is true or false. Here we go.
right,
Guinea
give it, give
pigs. Wait until I get to the end, because there may be statements you want to declare true or false.
Oh yeah. So this
Before
isn't a
I'm
rush
done.
to this isn't a rush to hit a button or
Ba-
anything, right?
Right.
Yeah, based on the final twist. Yes, I got you.
All right.
True, guinea pigs.
Guinea pigs poop constantly, and that is true. So guinea pigs poop constantly, and often in the places where they eat, which is surprising because, despite coming from their own bodies, their poop is highly toxic and could kill them if accidentally ingested.
Oh, I think I know this. I raise guinea pigs.
I've had some rodents in my house, but we've never had a guinea pig.
They're neither guinea nor pig. I don't know why they're called that. They don't look anything like a pig.
And they aren't from Guinea.
They're not from
New
Guinea or New
right?
Guinea. Any of the guineas.
Hmm.
Anyway.
That should have been
Um,
the question.
I'm trying to think. Yeah, so I mean, so it's deadly poisonous, like not
Yeah,
just
so
poisonous.
the
it's
crux
deadly.
of this question is that their poop is
Yeah.
highly toxic and could kill them if accidentally ingested.
They poop pretty dry, so
Do they?
I'm gonna go. Yeah, pellets and stuff.
Sure.
I'm gonna go true.
That's your.
I don't
that's
feel
your
good
answer?
about it, but I'm not. I don't feel good about it. I'm going true. Going true.
All right. Well, the answer is false.
Oh. Oh well.
That was an appropriate.
That's our
noise,
new.
yeah.
Oh, I should have mentioned. If you get it right, you'll hear that. If you get it wrong, there's that. All right.
It's
Does
false.
that get
It's false.
okay? Does that
As
get
clean
me?
as anything. They can eat it and recycle it 30 times.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing, and some people in the chat room have hit it on the head. They might be guinea pig owners. Guinea pigs eat their own poop as a matter of normal everyday function.
Yeah. They're not. It's not weird to them at all. They don't see it as off the way you do it.
So instead of a second, third, or fourth stomach, they just poop it out and process it twice.
Right.
Well, yeah, it's similar to how cows eat cud. In fact,
Right.
it's just coming out the other end.
Yeah. You know what's crazy?
Rabbits,
Do you ever
rabbits do this as well.
Yeah, rabbits do it as well. I was going to say, and so do ferrets. Will sometimes eat their own poop and act like it's normal.
Yeah,
There's
see,
a-
I don't have any of those nasty animals.
We did, and it's a mistake. Never get a ferret. They freaking stink. They stink
Yep.
so bad.
And they're the worst, and they can get in the tightest little spots, and you can't get them out. I had a friend who had one.
They're
God, I
adorable,
hated
and
that
you
thing.
just think, oh, I want to cuddle with that and have it run all around my arms, and that all sounds fun until you get one, and then you realize I bought the stinkiest animal on the planet. It's so bad.
Ugh.
You may as well have bought just the tail end of a bonobo monkey. Just bought his butthole. That's it. That's what you get with a ferret. So that means no points for Brian so far. My turn.
No
So far,
points
no
for
points.
Brian.
Yep.
I flipped
they
the
eat
coin
their own poop.
incorrectly.
It's how they do. They just for more nutrition. They want to get every bit of nutrition they can out of it.
That's
So
right.
they eat it. All right, you ready, Scott?
Yeah, I'm ready. Give it.
Here's the next one. The brightest star in the sky of the northern hemisphere
Yeah.
is the star Sirius, located near the
Are
constellation
you serious?
Orion.
Yes, I'm serious, and I shed light
That's the
on you.
statement. The brightest star is the star Sirius.
In the sky of our
Well,
of our viewable universe
Of our
that
planet.
we can see.
Of our planet.
Of the northern hemisphere, at least, which is really, honestly, that's the best hemisphere. Let's be honest.
It's pretty good. No offense to all you guys down low there. You have some good weather though. Some of you. I'm gonna say that is a little outside of my wheelhouse, but I'll say sure, true. It's true. I don't
true.
know.
You're saying true.
Yeah.
All right. You're sure it's not something like Polaris, the North Star?
No, I maybe, but I'm sticking with my answer. I'm gonna say true.
All right. It is true. You're right.
Yeah. Woo! That's 1 point for Scott.
I was hoping to maybe get you with that North Star thing.
Well, I could tell you were. That helped me. That confirmed I needed to double down.
That confirmed.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
your answer had already been locked in when I tried to tease you with that, but I thought maybe you'd already known about the North Star. But anyway,
No.
a lot of people do think that the brightest star is Polaris, the North Star, and that's why people use it to navigate, but that's not true. It's not the brightest star. In fact, it's like the 50th brightest star.
But it's good for navigation, though, right?
Yeah, it is good for navigation, though. Do you know why?
Is it because it's not the brightest star and it's a little easier to track?
That doesn't make any sense, so no.
Right.
All right.
It's kind of it's more in an area by itself, maybe.
It's about
more
where it's
high in the-
located.
It's high in the sky.
Is that the deal?
Maybe.
It's because it's located above the celestial pole, which is above the part of the sky above the North Pole that doesn't move. So it always will
Right.
guide you to north.
Less wobble.
So it's
Okay.
it's reliable. You can count on it. That's the other
Yes.
thing. Okay. All
Very
right.
reliable.
Reliable.
That's why old maritime
That's not a
ship
star.
people-
That's Mars.
Yeah. How would you Brian, did you see the big bear on Mars? The big bear face? Have you seen
Big
that?
bear face. Big bear face.
I
Yeah.
gotta send
Cute.
you that if you haven't seen it. It's cute. It's really cute. All right. Anyway, there's that. All right. Next up. It's Brian's turn again.
Yep, Scott's got a point.
Yes, he does.
Scott's
All right.
got a point.
All right, here we go. Here's the next one. Now, some of these are leftover ones that we didn't use before, so if I accidentally repeat a question, please let me know, because I might not have marked it off and said I asked it.
All right.
All right, here's the question. Water, this is it. It's very simple. Water does
is wet.
not.
True.
You got it. You got it.
Dude.
Wow.
Water does not conduct electricity.
Oh, that feels like a trick.
That does feel like a trick.
Yep. But I think you're up to
Define
the
water.
challenge. You got this.
Sorry, I'm just outside. It's against the rules.
Right?
I mean, they always talk.
that
Oh, I don't
feels like
want
a
to help.
trick.
I don't want to help you. Never mind. I was going to say something.
Right?
I'm trying to win here.
Oh. Because it feels like a trick and I don't feel like thinking too hard about it. Oh. Water does not conduct electricity, is what you're saying.
That's correct.
The-
That's the statement. So
Right. Pure water does not conduct electricity, is basically what we're saying.
That is what we're saying.
Yeah.
you can
But
change the
water
words if you
with-
want. Yes.
Right. But water, when we think of water, we think of, we say, oh, it's H2O. But there's a lot of things in water that is not H2O.
That's true.
That may be the
So
part that's
if you
conductive.
want me to define water, I will say H2O. Yes.
Just H2O.
Yeah, like pure
I'm gonna
frickin' water.
say, I'm gonna say that no, water itself, H2O, does not. I think it's the bed for it. Yes, I'm going. That's what I'm gonna go. Yeah.
You're gonna say
So
no.
you're
let's-
saying it's- you're saying the
I'm
statement
saying
is true?
water does not. Correct. Water does not conduct electricity. I'm about to be educated. Do it to me, Bobby. Give me that
Well,
education.
Well, it is true.
Oh, nicely done.
Oh.
Well done.
It is true. It's surprisingly
That's right.
true. Water does not conduct electricity, and you hit it. The nail on
Okay.
the head, Brian. It's pure water is actually an insulator. It does not conduct electricity.
So wait a minute. If I'm in a tub and someone drops a toaster in there that's plugged in,
Oh, you got so much stuff in that water. That is not H2O.
That is right. There is
is-
so much filth in that water.
is that what it
not
does?
pure H2O.
Is that what it is then? The impurities in
That
there
is
and stuff?
exactly what it is. The
Okay.
reason water seems to conduct electricity and is famous for conducting electricity is because it has a bunch of impurities or ions in the water, which do transmit electrical charge. It's in fact a common science experiment to add salt to water and make it more conductive.
Oh,
Yes.
don't do that. Don't take a
Um,
salt bath and then dump your radio in there. Don't do that.
You should not rely on this fact, though, because it's very, very hard to have pure water.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes.
We're not even talking about
once
like
you put
yeah.
And once you put your body part in there, it's no longer pure water. You
Yeah.
are like sloughing off all kinds of crap.
Yeah.
Once you put it into a glass, once you expose it to air, it is not pure anymore.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what body part you're putting in there, but I like the way you said it. I
Big
like
toe.
that. All right, big toe.
Do you only
With
put
the
one
fungus.
body part into the bath?
I mean, if you had to put one in, well, you always go feet first, right? So it's your feet, your nasty ass feet. That's the deal.
It's your nasty ass feet.
We are currently sitting at a 1-1 tie at the moment.
That's correct.
Yeah.
That's correct.
No matter what, the
All right.
sixth person who writes me gets the prize. By the way, there's
So
nothing.
this
on the
is
line
just
for,
for bragging rights.
Yeah, it's just for funs. I just
Oh,
want to make
great.
sure we gave something out. So, all right, what's my next one?
All right, here's another one. Ready?
Yeah.
The statement is, for Scott, an asteroid hitting the Earth killed all the dinosaurs.
I mean, that's such a blanket statement. I'm going to say false because I don't think all the dinosaurs were killed. Plus, it took time. It wasn't like, bam, everyone's dead. There was, basically the equivalent of nuclear fallout. There was
Yep.
cloud,
Okay.
dust in the clouds carrying from continents, all that stuff. So I'm going to say no. It's false that they were killed because I think it's the way you asked the question. So yes, false.
I like the idea of thinking of all the dinosaurs huddled up and then the asteroid hitting them.
Right.
I like that idea.
They all
Yeah, I
got
do
together.
too.
They saw it coming, and they were like, "Oh, let's what
Right.
is that?"
Because I don't think we got
This here,
like,
our ride is here. Let's all gather together.
like I was thinking like
Right.
alligators, crocs, lizards, monitors, that kind of stuff, snakes, whatever, birds even.
Birds.
Like, they made it and they didn't make it in 1 hour. It's like they all went, all right,
Right.
I was shortening the water. I'm good. I don't think it was that. So I'm gonna say no.
All right. Well, the real answer is false. You're right. You're correct. It's the asteroid hitting
Killed
the
by
Earth.
the
And
cold.
were you good at those types of like SAT questions, true false questions?
I was.
because
Yeah.
that's a good strategy, which is large, all-encompassing statements tend to be false, right?
Yeah,
Right.
that's true. Also, so my SATs were always really good, except for math. Terrible. Just a horrible math student. Oh my gosh, I'm so bad.
Terrible.
I know.
So
I know
the
it's
reason
2-1
is-
right now. That's the only math I know for sure. So
Yeah. So I was counting though in this statement. I was counting all the fallout from the asteroid, like all those clouds you were talking about.
Yeah.
But still, the asteroid and its, the subsequent winter that followed from all the stuff in the atmosphere. When it struck, it did kill 80% of all life on Earth.
oh my lord.
But it did not kill all the dinosaurs. It killed a lot of the dinosaurs, but mostly those that were over 50 pounds.
Yeah, the biggins.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of the small dinosaurs survived. And guess what? If you knew that birds, like you did, if you knew that birds, and you hinted at this, and you said it,
I watched Jurassic Park.
Yeah, we know.
if birds evolved from dinosaurs, then of course they couldn't have all died, or they couldn't have evolved into birds.
Or they wouldn't have been that quick, or they wouldn't have been already all set and ready to rock as birds. Like they weren't
I
all
love watching documentaries where they fully feather out dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Make them colorful.
Oh,
Love
feathered
that.
up dinosaurs are badass, dude. I think
Yeah,
they're cool.
all colored up and everything.
Yeah,
Love it.
instead of just slate gray looking things. I like that.
Yeah, instead
a
of
lot.
slate, naked
Yeah. We have no idea.
dinos.
We have no idea. I mean, we have an idea, but we don't have the perfect idea. Anyway, all right. So it's 2-1,
Two to
Brian.
1.
The pressure's on.
True or false? The score is 2-1.
All right, you ready for one, Brian?
Give me it.
All right. Here's the statement. Many species of cacti contain significant stores of water that can be used as an emergency source in the desert.
Benny?
Now, I didn't say all. This isn't one of those all or nothing statements. Many species of cacti contain
Tricky.
significant stores of water that can be used as
Tricky.
an emergency source in the desert.
Right. If you've seen movies
No,
or
don't
TV,
drink cactus water. Isn't that like super dangerous to drink cactus water?
we'll only.
I don't know. That's the question.
I guess that is the question. If he tells you that, then you probably get the answer.
I feel like I'm being tricked. I'm going to say false because they drink. Okay, so drinkable water, right? Potable water.
Yeah, something you could drink
Right.
and not die.
Yeah, an emergency source. You don't have anything to drink. You need to.
Oh,
Might not taste the
you
best.
tap a cactus.
now emergency sources got me backing out. Now, oh no.
Yeah.
I'm breaking each word. I'm writing a sentence diagram over here and going.
What does he mean by emergency?
You've beamed down
Right.
to a
What do you mean
planet.
by
Kirk's like,
What-
hey, don't
what
die,
does-
red shirt. And the red shirt says, I'm
what
trying
does
this
is
cactus.
mean?
Is?
What does is mean?
I don't know. Ask Clinton. He knew what is meant.
I'm gonna just for fun. I'm gonna say, just to break everybody's belief, because that's what everybody thinks. So I'm gonna go counter to what everybody thinks and go. I'm just gonna blow everybody's mind and go, no,
Okay.
false.
Saying
Not
false?
false.
Yeah, don't be drinking none of that cactus water juice. It's liquid. It's not really like water. It doesn't like
Yeah.
smell like goo.
It's like thickened
like
liquid.
aloe, right?
Yeah, it's like aloe. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it is.
As a man of the desert, do you already know the answer to this, Scott?
Well, man of the desert. I don't actually know for sure. I'm pretty sure that it's not the liquid water people think it is. I don't think you can just wring it out. I think it's like aloe and not very. I just can't imagine this is going to be good. You're going to get sick at the least, is my guess. So I'm thinking his falseness.
Yeah, then you're gonna
is,
lose more water. It's
Yeah.
kind of like you're in the ocean surrounded by water. Don't drink it.
Yeah,
Right.
It's like
right.
that.
So Brian Dunaway is correct. The answer is false.
Nicely done.
Never try to get sustenance from a cactus in the desert.
It's
At
very,
first it hurts.
very well done.
Most cacti are in fact toxic. You should not eat them. They have an alkali poison in them, and it'll fry your kidneys. You'll be done.
Yeah.
Nice.
Everything about a cactus says back off.
Yeah, get the hell away from me. Yeah, exactly. Why would you want to mess
Yeah,
with that?
and in fact, they've evolved to be poisonous because, guess what? We're not the only ones who would want to get water from them
No.
in the desert.
Right.
There
No.
are other animals there.
In fact,
so
we're close. We're probably close to the last who would. You know, there's other.
yeah, so in order to make it so that other animals won't try to seek them out for water, they're poisonous. They protect themselves by
sense.
having an alkali poison inside of them. So your best chance at survival in the desert is to just hunker down in the shade and hope for the best.
Hope for the best. So this okay. So I think this next question is going to be our tiebreaker because it's 10 o'clock. We got Tom coming up. This
right.
is the big one. If I get this wrong, Brian wins. No. If I get this wrong, we're tied forever.
We tie.
If I get this
I've
one
got
right,
a
I win.
tiebreaker that makes more sense. You ready?
Yeah, go. Give it.
Both of you are going to be thinking about this at the same time, and the first one to give me the answer wins. Okay.
Yeah, got it.
It's not true or false. I'm asking for an answer.
And you'll probably hear him first
okay.
because you're in the same state, which means you're on the same back part of the backbone. You're going to get less latency from Brian than you are me. So, Brian, you actually have a slight advantage here. Make sure you use it.
Yeah. All
We'll
right.
see.
Here we go. Ready?
We'll see.
Which letter does not appear on the periodic table of elements?
Oh, my gosh.
A second.
I'll ring in and say X. I don't know. X?
No, X is definitely on there.
Is it?
I'm gonna say. Oh shoot! I'm going through them as quick as I can. Let's take oh my God, that one's in there. That one's in there. No. 7. No. I.
7. I like it. It's a good answer. No, Y. He says Y. I say X. Who got
No.
it?
Yeah.
Did you say Y? What'd you say?
Neither of you have said the
said
correct
I.
answer yet.
Oh, you said I. It's not I.
Yeah.
Nope.
All right.
Every letter I go through feels like the it's in there.
I'm looking at the chat now. I just brought it up just to see what they said. They're all they don't know either. Look at that. It's all over the place. F. T, someone says Y. Someone says B. Someone says J. Oh, maybe that might be why they do that. Q. Is it Q? It's probably Q.
I'm thinking F. Is it F?
So
What's
Q
the
is not
line?
the answer that I had, but I'm looking through the periodic table. I don't think Q appears either.
Oh.
So I will give it to
Okay, good job.
Technically
Give it
to Scott because my
Yes.
criteria was whoever said the letter first.
Oh, all right. Oh, yeah, that's right. That was the
job.
secret of winning.
Oh shoot! I should have just said A B C D.
Should have just gone, yeah.
You were quickly
Because the
ripped
other
through.
one that I
Yeah.
had on the list was J. J does not appear.
J does not appear.
J. Dadgummit, I skipped through J.
It doesn't mean that we might get down the road a new element's discovered and we give it a new thing and put a J in.
We give it. We call it jam.
Yeah, jam. The new element of jam.
Mm-hmm.
Jamconium.
Yeah,
That's what-
jamconium. It's good on a slice of.
Unobtainium.
Yeah, unobtainium. It's very nice. Well,
Janium.
well done. And let's announce the winner here because I haven't even actually looked at who is number 6. We got hold on. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, ladies and gentlemen. Ethan Kane, aka Amos, is the 6th person to pipe in,
Amos.
and he will be winning these things. I like Amos a lot. He's a good dude, and I'd love to send him some stuff. So I'm gonna Amos, watch for that private DM coming to you soon, and I'll hook you up with some cool stuff up there in Alaska. And congratulations to you. Oh, I guess I could play this for you.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
You're a winner.
Well done. You know who else is a winner? You guys for tuning in later today for the Play Retro show, where Brian and I are going to talk about the R-rated movies turned games of our youth, and you'll be surprised how many of them got made before the movies came out and had subsequently nothing to do with the movies. That's real weird. How that stuff went down.
Weird time.
But, yeah, we're talking
How
Rambo.
did we get Die Hard? It's a rated R movie. How
I
do
know.
you do that?
How do we do
I
it?
know. You have feet health. That's
Yep.
right. This game has feet health.
Feet health, and it's got what's his name saying shoot the vents. It's pretty, or in the ducks, shoot the ducks.
Shoot the ducks.
yeah.
Ducks? No, the ducks.
It's a shooting game with ducks in it. No, you got to shoot. You got to find John McClane, and he's in the ducks, is what we've been told. So anyway, the NES and the world of rated R turned kid-friendly video games. That's later today on Play Retro, wherever you get your podcasts.
Except for the one where he goes to Mars and he shoots his wife. That's not kid friendly.
No, that's not kid-friendly
Total
at all.
Recall.
No, I completely agree. Brian, kiss our butts. All right, he's gone. He didn't have time to say no you, which I feel bad about, but what are you going to do? All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, Tom Merritt will join us. I just made sure he's good. He's good. In fact, he answered. I said, hey, running a little late. Talk to you soon. He says, no provolone. That's cheese speak for no problem. Say. So we're all good there. So here's the deal. I don't have any music from Brian, so instead today, I have decided to share with people a couple of my favorite video game music tracks. There's a couple advantages to this. Number one, it shouldn't get us kicked off any streaming services. But two, I also like video game music a lot. And if you come to pre-show on the show, you'll hear me play it a lot. And so I'm going to do that today. Today we start with a middle selection. And I'm sorry for the timing here. Hold on, I got to bring it up. This is the only good thing I can say about the game it's based on. Back in 2013, I think? Yeah, 2013. Everyone was very excited because Electronic Arts was releasing a brand new kind of restart of the SimCity games called simply SimCity. And it was expected to be really cool. What they'd shown at E3 looked amazing. Everybody was stoked. Turns out it was hot garbage. It was not a good game. It was riddled with issues, mostly dealing with EA and their business plans and stuff like that. But it features one of the greatest video game soundtracks I think ever made. And I think partly why I like it is it's just so perfectly suited to the content. So I'm going to play the SimCity theme, about a 3-minute song. This is all written by Chris Tilton, by the way. He is a good author of video game music. This isn't his first time to the rodeo, but I think it's his best. And so I am going to play that song, and when we come back, it'll be Tom Merritt and recommentals and more. So stay tuned. All right, hold on. I got to mark this. Okay, and then I can play this.
Intuition test time. What snack is behind my back? Are you ready? It's popcorn. Did you guess right? If you did, congratulations. And listen to the song of my people. Shalala-ha.
Donald Gleason.
The morning stream. Stand by. Affirmative. 1, 2, 3, May West. Hey, wait a minute. They're gonna strafe them in the water. Request permission to arm and fire.
A long one. Wow. Thank you, Scott Fletcher. And thank you guys for hanging out there. That was, again, the artist. His name is, there it is, Chris Tilton, the SimCity soundtrack from 2013. It's available streaming on both Spotify and Apple Music if you're looking for it there. Or, of course, you can find it on YouTube. And it's a fantastic soundtrack. It's very good. I have another one lined up for the end of the show, which is very different. So stick around for that. All right. Well, we've done that now. Time to get Tom on the line. What do you think of that? You like that?
I love it.
I do too. I like having Tom on. He's a good guy with good things to say, and I bet today's no different. So let's get in there.
With the computer, as with any tool, the concept and direction must come from the man.
That man is Tom Merritt. He joins us as he does every Wednesday to talk about the latest and greatest in tech news around the world and around you. I don't know where I was going with that. Anyway, Tom Merritt, thanks for joining us once again, and welcome back to the show.
Yes, like the arms of technology, I embrace you with news.
Oh, wonderful. There's some Samsung business going down or something today.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about that once it happens later today. Samsung Unpacked. By the time a lot of people listen to TMS on demand, all the details are out there, but it's probably not going to be that surprising. New Samsung Galaxy S and probably a tablet.
You think the get any Note? Is the Note done? Is it just now the big Galaxy is the Note?
No. The Note usually was announced separately, but it is on hiatus as they go for the Fold. I think the idea is to see if they can just switch all the Note partisans over to the Fold, which seems to be working. So yeah, I would guess you won't see another Note out of Samsung. Their singing days are over.
I don't want to hear one more note out of them. Are they? So the Fold's doing good.
The Fold is doing well for them. Both the Flip and the Fold are the two foldables, and I think the Flip is actually selling even a little better. But the Fold makes more money because it's more expensive.
Yeah, I'm interested in that. Whatever the fruition of that is. Like right now, they're a little thick for me. Like it's a big old fat looking thing. But at some point, it feels like that's the road we're going down. I don't know. I could be wrong.
I never see them. I've only ever seen one out in the wild.
Yeah, they're pretty weird. I used one at the store, and it was weird. It's cool though. Like I can tell why people who like them, and I can tell why Samsung is betting that there's a future in that.
And again, that's not what's going to be announced.
No, none of this will happen today.
Because I know there's somebody out there like only half listening. So, I guess there's a new Fold. No, there's not. It's going to be the Galaxy S23, the Galaxy Book 3. I don't know. There might be another accessory in there. But I'm not sure.
Well, keep your eyes out for that. What else is percolating today? What do we have?
Oh, Netflix. Netflix is coming for your sharing. They're finally releasing it worldwide. Crackdown on sharing, and they put up some rules in their help center.
All right.
So what they're going to be doing is not as simple as where are you logging in. They're going to look for patterns of behavior. So what IP addresses do you normally use? And is this one a little different? What device ID is being used to log in? And is this one different? And does one device ID always come from out of the house? And one device ID always in the house? And general account activity, like what kinds of things are being watched. They're being a little cagey about how they're determining it because they don't want people to game it. But they will decide whether they think you are connected at your primary location or not. They will know your primary location by the network you log in on. So they say Wi-Fi, but if you're just wired, it would still work. They're going to know like, oh, you're logged in from, Salt Lake City, Utah. So we know that that's your home location. They will, if they think you're logging in from outside the house, prompt you to sign into your account elsewhere, and instead block your account until you do. So,
geez.
So,
right.
So they'll say like, "Hey, looks like you're signing in from outside. We're gonna block your stuff until you've signed in from the same device in your home location."
Oh my gosh.
That's if you're like, I don't know, if you're logged in on something else, but you're at home, you can do that. Mm-hmm. If you're traveling, if you're vacationing, a lot of people have had this question, like, wait a minute, what if I'm just taking a trip and I want to use my Netflix? Users who want to use Netflix on a hotel, smart TV, company laptop can request a temporary code from the service when signing in. That will give you access to your account for 7 consecutive days.
Okay.
So if you're on the road and you get the prompt that's like, hey, looks like you're not in your home location, we're going to block you, you can say, send me a code. And it doesn't say it'll send it by email, so I don't know if it sends it to a home device or if it just sends an email to you. But theoretically, you would get that code if you're the account owner. If you're not the account owner, you wouldn't. You can, however, make a device trusted so that it will never be blocked.
Oh.
You can make a device so that it'll never run into that check, and even when you're traveling, it'll be fine. And the way you do that is to log in from your home network connection once every 31 days. You have to log in, open the app or the website, and watch something on that device. And then Netflix will kind of whitelist that device and will not block it. And if you travel, it's fine.
Okay. So this sort of stuff's easy to get all worked up about, but I don't think that sounds so bad. That sounds okay. I mean, I have a situation right now where my son uses our login for Netflix. That's probably going to have to end because this will flag that. Like
Well, could he come to your house once every 31 days?
Yeah. That's actually,
Then-
he comes about once a week. So yeah, you know what? You're right. He could do that.
Again, it's a little clunky if you're logging into Netflix from a smart TV app and the smart TV is 65 inches, but if it's just a laptop, he can make that device work.
Right. And if you're doing,
there's going to be a lot of little workarounds like that.
But if you've got this whitelisted device and you take it on vacation with you, let's say it's an iPad Pro.
Yeah.
Like I use for watching stuff when I'm gone. Then that's no different than what I already did. Like that's fine. That seems fine. Like the whitelisted, like trusted device thing seems like a decent way for me to not feel overly taxed by this. I understand the 7-day thing seems a little weird, but if you can do the whitelisted device, just do that.
Yeah, I'm going to run into this where I'm going to be like, I forgot to log in at home on this iPad that I never watched Netflix on at home, and now I want to watch it on the plane.
Yeah.
And now I don't have a network connection that's good. Or actually on the plane, I would have downloaded it, so I probably would have. But yeah, I'm in the hotel and I want to watch something.
Sure.
Claire Gack is bringing up an interesting one. You go and just park outside the house of someone you no longer live with, but you're sharing a Netflix account. Log in and authorize. Now, you would have to have the cooperation of the person involved because you can go in and deauthorize any app or any device that's logged in on your account. So on your side, you can just get anything off you can kick anything off if you want.
Right. That makes sense. BioCow has this idea that Netflix should charge by the inch. So how big your TV is or how small your TV is how Netflix should. It's obviously a very different business model, but
Amos has a really good one, which is they've got a dual household. They've got his wife is in Washington State. He's in Alaska. It's legit. They're a household.
Yeah.
So, and it's not like he's going to fly down every 31 days with his television and his Roku box or whatever, right? And log in. So that's going to be annoying.
DHL your iPad over there.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't like that. That's a good point because there is no one size fits all, probably.
Yeah. I mean, there are going to be a lot of edge cases like that. And those are going to be the big headlines, right?
Yeah.
This is not going to affect most people. Except for people who are doing what Netflix doesn't want them to do, which is sharing an account with someone who doesn't live in their house at all. But then there's legitimate edge cases like Amos is talking about that I think any corporation is going to say, you know what, we'll just deal with the bad press over those edge cases. It's worth it. And that's unusual. Netflix for years was like, you know what, if you're sharing, that's just promoting.
Yeah.
But their shareholders have put pressure on them as they've reached saturation in North America to say, well, you could have, there's estimated 100 million subscribers sharing. Now, granted, not all of those are going to start paying if you kick them off.
Right.
But even if only 1% of them do, that's 1 million subscribers, right?
Sure.
When you're at saturation, that's another 1 million that you could bring into the tank. So yeah, they're going after small percentages here, but they're at the point where that is at least growth.
Well, I don't want to be conspiratorial, but I just wonder, if Reed Hastings is making his hasty exit from Netflix right before all this. He's like, I'm retiring. I'm handing it over to this other guy. It's been a great run, everybody. 20-something, 5 years, whatever it's been. I'll see you later. and then bam, they have to enforce this new hotness, and he doesn't have to he doesn't have to answer to anybody anymore.
That is definitely not why he stepped down, but it certainly is a benefit, right?
Yeah.
Like it's like, oh, I'm glad I planned this for now because I'm glad I don't have to deal with that. It's like when you leave any job, there's always that one thing that you're like, and I won't miss that.
Yeah, that's true. He will definitely not miss this, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens, especially the aftermath of like if it's really 100 million people, let's say. That do sharing, and what percentage does belly up and pay? That'll be weird. Like I want to know what that if it ends up being like a lot or very little, like that's a shareholder problem, right?
Yeah. The shareholders just want it to be done, and any increase will make the shareholders say, "See, it was worth it. We got more people." A bunch of people in the chat are saying what people always say is, "Well, I'm going to cancel if I run into this."
Yeah.
More people always say that. Now you mean it. I know you mean it.
Of course.
But a lot of other people say it and then don't do it. That's what the numbers have shown. So I wouldn't expect they're going to lose a lot of people from this. What I think the biggest risk for them will be is that they will run into a situation where they misjudged an edge case, or one of these has a side effect that nobody anticipated. And they have a bunch of negative press that they have to deal with, and that could cause some people to have a backlash against them.
Right.
Yeah, but like they have a whole department of people whose job is to look at the statistics, to look at market trends, to crunch the numbers, and they have determined at the end of the day that the amount of subscribers that they will gain from doing this will be greater than the amount that they will lose.
Yeah, that seems like obvious.
And the only thing to watch for is more people are running into this problem than they expected, because that throws their calculations off.
Yeah.
Also, iCore is now going to cancel Netflix just to spite me because I said that.
They didn't count on that.
No.
I fully support that. Yeah. Here's one. I'm perpetrating an unintended side effect right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Put that in the reason you quit when they give you a little form there. Put Tom Merritt is the reason I quit.
Yes. Everyone do that.
Please do that.
And in about 6
Tom
months,
Merritt
you're going to
said
start
I wouldn't.
He said I wouldn't.
6 months, you're going to start seeing that on a list of things to Is Tom Merritt at the bottom.
Yeah, I can't wait. Well, that's an interesting discussion we're going to have about that, of course, and much more. I think Rob Dunwood's on today as well. Is he part of the deal?
Yeah. Rob's coming in because he's a Android user, big Samsung fan. So we're having him on to give us the user perspective on Unpacked. So that's going to be fun too.
Always enjoy hanging out with that guy. So looking forward to the Wednesday edition of DTNS today. Check it out today at 2 p.m. Mountain Time. Tom Merritt, anything else you're doing on the side or otherwise you'd like to mention?
Well, I've been walking the dog, and I went to the Harry Styles concert on Sunday.
How'd that go?
It was fun. It was really fun.
Does he smell as good as everyone says he smells?
I didn't get close enough to be able to judge, but he looked like he smelled great.
All right.
Yeah.
You keep hearing this, or I've heard it a few times, that Harry Styles is the best smelling guy in music today. And I don't know.
Well, I didn't find any evidence to the contrary.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I mean, I would if I got close enough, I'd take a whiff. I'd do it.
But a couple irons in the fire coming up. One's a little farther off. We are going to relaunch Know a Little More in April with some additional production. We're going to make good use of Amos, who's always done the editing for it. But I haven't really made full use of his talents. And Justin Robert Young's Dog and Pony Audio, Dog and Pony Show Audio, is going to come in and spice some things up as well. So Know a Little More is going to get prettier.
Oh, very nice.
Starting with RSS. Look for that in April. And then A Word with Tom Merritt is coming back with a few different interviews to be scheduled. The one that I've nailed down is Derek Gould, the beat writer for baseball and the St. Louis Cardinals and the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, going to come on, and we're going to talk about sports.
Oh my gosh, Tom. That seems, knowing you as long as I've known you, that seems huge.
It's huge. It's huge. For me, it's huge.
Yeah.
I grew up venerating the beat writer of the St. Louis Cardinals in the Post. So having the current holder of that chair is pretty fun.
That's
I can't wait
awesome.
to talk to him.
Yeah, very cool. Very exciting. Well, all right. I'll look forward to all of that and more. And, of course, DTNS Today. Everybody check that out. It's Tom Merritt, Ace Detect on Twitter. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye now. Bye, Tom.
All right. That was great. Always good to have Tom on. I say.
Always.
I say. All right, let's get.
He's a fine fellow.
Yeah, he's a fine. Find a better guy. You can't do it. It's not possible. Good luck. You just can't find him. He's not out there. This better guy. This mythical better guy.
Try it. You can't.
You try it. You can't. Prove it. You can't. Doodle-doodle-doo. It's time for us to do a little recommending of recommentals, things we've seen this week or recently on streaming services that we'd like to come to you and say, hey, check these out. You'll like them too. Joining us as always, we have Nicole Spagnolo. Hello, Nicole. How are you?
Hey, guess what?
What?
I've never met Bobby.
Oh, well,
that's true.
Bobby and Nicole together
our
at last.
circles have hovered around each other.
Yeah.
And
he's, I guess you've never met in person, but first time on the air. Yeah, that's cool. That's great.
Have you ever gone to Nerdtacular?
I have not. No.
He has not.
Okay, so we definitely did.
He's been to two, or no, he's been to one TMS Vegas.
TMS Vegas last year was the first Frog Pants event I had the courage to show up at.
And Nicole went to 2018's, I believe.
Yeah.
So there's a big divide there. But yeah, we maybe one day, these two will meet.
Claire, I wish I was coming to Vegas. I'm still recovering from my sickness. So.
Yeah, my guess is by April, hopefully things are better. But you never know. April might be weird.
It's slow. It's so slow.
Yeah, I get you. I feel you. But anyway, yeah. Well, I look forward to that. Also with us, Randy Jordan, aka Randy Deluxe. Hello, Randy.
Good morning stream. Nicole, can you believe it has been 15 years since I met you at the Las Vegas Hilton?
Whoa.
Brag about it, why don't you?
15 years.
Is that really that long? Holy crap.
Yep.
That's crazy.
I just happened upon their podcast. I happened upon The Wood Whisperer.
It was you and Patrick, right? You and Patrick both.
Yeah. Patrick was there. Molly Lynn was there. It was just an awesome time. We met Veronica Belmont in person for the first time that day.
Yeah.
Just 15 years.
They still had the Star Trek experience at that Hilton. It was still a thing. Remember that?
So, Scott, you were there for like a second, and then you left.
I was there for like a day, not even a day, and I got so sick that I finally was like, I got to get out of here. I guess get out of here. So we left. I went and recuperated in St. George, about an hour north, and we thought about going back, but by the end of all that, we were just like, we're done. We're spent. But yeah, that kind of sucked. But I did get to see everybody. I got to see Patrick. I got to ride in a minivan with Patrick. That was fun. Didn't think that would ever happen to me, but it did.
On a different trip out there, I toured Vegas for Patrick. I took him all around Las Vegas on a different trip, and that was really fun.
Oh, I'll bet. Yeah.
He's a really good tour patron. He's a good patron of a tour guide.
Yeah, he's a patron of the arts of the tours. Exactly.
He's a tourist.
No, he's just a dork. But anyway, it's good to have you both here. We're going to do some recommentals. Everybody's got them. And we're going to start with this order this week. We're going to start with Nicole, actually, at the top of the show. Nicole, anything to say about your clip before I play it?
All right. So this is going to be a documentary.
Yeah.
And I hope that this is received well. Don't get defensive. This is all for the good if you're in a relationship. So there's a thing called the default parent.
Okay.
It's a thing.
All right.
So most of the time, not all of the time, it's usually the mom.
Yeah.
So the mom has the things in the brain like, okay, so-and-so, they haven't had a dentist appointment. I need to do a dentist appointment. We got to get it established. We got to do all these little things. And it's just a invisible workload that happens. For me, when I got sick, I didn't realize how much I did until I couldn't do anything. And it's been weird and a weird journey just from that perspective. And this documentary kind of dives into that invisible work. It's meant to be helpful. And here it is. It came out last year.
Okay, here we go. Play it right now.
I had the breast pump and the diaper bag in the passenger seat of my car. I was racing to get Zach at his toddler transition program. I had a client contract in my lap. The pen would stab me in the vagina. Seth decided to send me a text. I'm surprised you didn't get blueberries. I remember thinking to myself, I'm the default for literally every single household and domestic task for my family.
When I became a mom, I felt like my identity completely changed.
I really didn't understand the amount that she had to endure.
Es una presión tremenda.
Tremenda, yeah.
It goes back to the twisted notion of, well, you just got to ask for their help. I don't want to ask.
What time? Yeah, I have 2 phone calls from work already. Thanks.
I became obsessed with a quest to figure out what was happening to us.
Interesting.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
So stressful, though.
It does seem stressful. It
Like I
reminds me
said,
of-
it's going to be
yeah.
hard for some people to watch this documentary. But if you care about your partner and you want it to get like better, like that, the one thing where she said, if you just ask me, she's like, I don't want to have to ask you. That's me managing your task.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like you need to invest in, and it doesn't just complain. The documentary is called Fair Play, so it's not just a complaining documentary. It's like you can actually work together to help your partner, to be part of everything. So like for Mark, he's really stepped up and helped me so much. But there was a period of time where he was asking me tons of questions, and I'm like, I can't even think right now. I don't know.
Yeah.
So it's just about, recognizing it's there, building on your communication. And I like that it highlighted not just one family, but many families. And they highlighted a Hispanic family and that, their trials and like the workload of the mom and the workload of the dad and how it shortchanged the kids and like it's a whole thing. So it's a wonderful documentary, and you may watch it and not even realize that's going on with your partner. But I guarantee you, and even for me, I get very nervous when I talk to Mark about it. But I know he's there to be part of it. But I have such a hard time asking for help.
Does it focus?
I'll just do it.
Does it focus on the gender expectations?
Yes. So
Yeah, I
and
bet
it
it
talks
does.
about that for women and men. So it's not
Right.
just it's what the historically and like what society is expected of men and like going to work and providing.
And the reason I ask is because I am the stay-at-home dad. My wife is the one who works, so I am the default parent here. But one thing that me and my wife struggle with is that she sort of like, it's almost like we both expect that we are the default parent. And I think it's because she has spent her whole life feeling like that's supposed to be her job.
Right. Yes. And it's just ingrained in our society, in the workplace, and it dives into all of those. So this is the documentary, but there's actually a couple books that it was based off of. And I got the impression from the documentary that there's like couples counseling to kind of break those barriers and kind of join together as a team more. And it could be something as simple as a 10-minute talk, walk around the block, talking about, okay, what's going on with the kids and what's happening. And but we get so caught up in everything that until like a crisis happens, we don't even realize
that's right. You don't notice it until stuff goes down and you're like, wait a minute, shoot, what's the redundancy here? How do we, there've been times like that in our marriage. And I look back on this and realize it was another way of me making an excuse. But at the time I thought I was being legit about it. And it would happen like, Kim would say, I don't know, we got to do this thing. And I'd say, okay, cool. And then she
packed for it.
She would just do it. Yeah.
She booked the trip.
And
just show up.
And then she'd say, well, I could have used some of your help. And I said, well, you didn't, I think I probably said, you didn't ask me. I didn't know.
Yep.
And I think that's probably a natural response, but the idea is to shave off some of that naturalness of yourself and be better. And obviously that sounds like the point here is they're trying to push that home. But that's awesome. It sounds good. This is where streaming? What's the service?
I think it was on Hulu.
Let's see.
Yep, it is on Hulu. Yeah, it's on Hulu.
Fair Play is what it's called.
Nicole, does this one have an appearance by my superstar congressperson, Katie Porter?
It does.
Oh my
She's
gosh.
wonderful.
Katie
And she's
Porter.
a single parent. She's a single parent with 3 kids. and it talks about the history of childcare, and it dives into all of that stuff. It's a really great watch.
I cannot tell you. There aren't words for how good it feels to send someone great to Congress. I know Scott has never actually experienced this.
No,
feeling.
I don't. We don't know how to do that here.
You now live in a place where, I'm sorry, Nicole, but this is not going to be any fun for you next cycle. The feelings are just enormous, and it's almost like to a point where I'm like, is this hero worship? I need to watch out for that, you know?
Yeah.
I just think it's nice looking when I see her like talking stuff. It's like watching a nice mom. Like I don't want to get stereotypic about it, but it gives me
she can get
hope.
She can get mean.
Oh, she can get feisty. She doesn't take any crap.
She's like, look, this is like, it's an attack on, like, it's an attack on men too, and not just women. It's just like,
she's pretty great.
I
like her.
It can be frustrating, but there are things that you can do to help.
Yeah. So now for all those people who thought we just gave a bunch of unfair praise to a Democratic person in Congress, I will now make a compliment about a Republican. I really like. I can't stand the guy, but I would really like to have that guy's hair. Who's the dude that has the crazy curly hair? It's always real stupid looking in a professional sense, but I would totally have it if I had his hair. Can't think of his name.
Oh, wow.
His dad was also in politics.
Kramer?
No.
Yup.
Rand Paul. I want to give Rand Paul this is the only good thing I'll ever say about Rand Paul. I'd have that curly hair if mine would grow that way. I would totally do it.
That was the most hedged compliment I've ever seen.
Oh hell yeah, because he sucks otherwise.
Yeah,
all right.
I can come up with all kinds of Republicans to compliment. You should have asked.
Oh
me.
no, there's some. Look, I like some things Romney does. There's plenty of things. Look, I'm a sensible centrist, like that guy I talked about earlier. Hey, let's get to
there's no such thing as that. But am I up next?
You are up next. Let's do you now, Randy. What's your deal and what's the setup?
It's a new comedy. It's like 22 minutes long. This show takes place in an alternate world where every human gets a superpower when they turn 18 years old, except one, and that's our protagonist. She's 25 years old, and as far as she knows, she never developed her superpower. She lives in London with two flatmates, and in this clip, two of them have just gotten home from work.
All right, here we go.
Hello. How's work? Everyone always gets angry with me when it goes badly. I'm just the messenger. It's not me saying it.
Yeah, you're just a vessel. Like a sexy little carafe.
Oh, thank you, babe.
Why don't you just quit?
Yeah, quit.
I can't just quit.
Right, you've dependents.
I'm looking for a job.
Yeah, he spends all day in his room applying for jobs. Don't you, babe?
Yes.
It pays well. And they don't just use me for my power. They also ask me to make teas and coffees. Oh, no. Basically an appliance.
No, it could always be worse.
Don't put yourself down like that, Jen. Or do you mean in general? In general, didn't you?
Yeah.
You were such a brave little soldier.
Carrie, I haven't got a power yet. I'm not, like, terminal.
Hey, maybe the real power is just being yourself.
That is the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard in my life. No.
All right.
This is extraordinary. And there's a number of things for some reason. The word extraordinary is the word of the year for some reason, right? So like there's like the extraordinary attorney woo or something. Anyway, this is extraordinary, just the word extraordinary. It follows a bunch
extraordinary.
of extraordinary.
I don't know.
Extraordinary.
It depends on where you're at. Extraordinary works, and extra
I thought it was extraordinary.
Denary.
Yes,
I think it works either way. I don't think you're wrong.
It's 6 syllables, but it's just about how fast you run them together, right?
Right.
Okay.
I think so. Doesn't matter.
The stars of this show are all 20-something English, Irish actors, and so you're seeing people that you know, like kind of for the first time as an American. They are amazing. The casting of this show is so brilliant; it's hard to believe. And again, it's this fantasy comedy that like I can't get enough of this idea that you know, like everybody has a superpower. It's so like everything they do is so normal workaday stuff, but everyone has something. Everyone, you look around the city there. This is in London. You see people just flying around, in the sky, and those are people who can fly, and everybody. And of course, there's some mystery men stuff in this, which is fine.
I love
right?
mystery men. Big fan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one of the characters decides to put together a super team and only attracts people with weird powers and this kind of thing.
That's 3D printing, but was probably my favorite.
3D printing butt? Guy had a 3D
He can
printer?
he can 3D print anything out of his butt.
Really? Okay, I'm in. I'm all in. I'm going to watch this now.
I mean, there are a lot of jokes like that. Like, this show is just jam-packed with weird people with, their one superpower is something you would never expect. And that makes it funny.
Yeah, I didn't even know about this. Another Hulu joint, looks like.
Yep.
It is very British, which I'm always in on. That's
great. On Hulu for us, created by a writer named Emma Moran, who, like, this is almost first time out. Like, was writing for another very brief series a couple of years ago as the only previous credit. And awesome on you. Like, this person has knocked it out of the park with their first foray into making it a comedy.
Nice. This guy named Luke Rawlison, who's in the thing, he plays
Jizzlord. He plays Jizzlord. Yeah.
He looks like, his photo on IMDb, he looks like an AI generated portrait. Just going to put that out there.
Most of them do. This cast is put together to look sort of strange as you look from one person to another.
Yeah.
And it's very, very helpful because you come to associate the weirdness of how they look with their superpower. And
do I want to know what Jizzlord's power is? Do I want to know?
No, you want to watch the show and find
watch
out.
the show.
Okay.
Watch the show.
All right.
It's
Am I going
offensive as you might guess.
Am I going to hate why his name is Jizzlord?
No, you'll laugh.
All right, I'm in. I like, dude, whatever British stuff. I'm already in before you even tell me what it's about. So I'll watch this.
That's good. My only, as always, standard disclaimer with anything made in England, there are not going to be very many episodes of this, and you're going to have to wait to find out if there's even a second series. And as with all things that are...
Oh, no, it said it was renewed for a
it?
second season on January 23rd.
Oh, good.
For sure. What I'm saying is this series starts with a big question, and like most British series, you might not ever get that question resolved.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Just let me know.
Because they're just going to do like 6 of them, and then another 6 of them, and then they may never do it again, and you may never hear. And it's just
this one has 8 episodes in this first series.
Oh, that's a lot for a British for a British show. They usually go short. But anyway, all right, I'm in. I'll watch this. This sounds great. Bobby, it's your turn. Tell me about your clip.
The setup is it's a scene that takes place in a long abandoned building. Overgrowth is in there. It's very maybe decades long abandoned building. There's a man and a woman in the building, and they're sitting over a young girl with a very big gun pointed at her, and they've got some questions for her.
Oh wow, I think I might know what this is. Here you go.
Do I look like I'm infected?
Show us your arm.
Yeah, it's not getting any worse, is it? If we're out in the open city, why aren't we getting swarmed?
Don't worry about that.
Well, I'm gonna.
What was Marlene doing with an infected kid?
I'm not infected. She found me after I was bitten.
And she didn't shoot you.
Clearly not. She locked me up and had her guys test me every day to see if I was getting sick.
Test you how?
I have to pee.
Test you how?
They'd make me count to 10 and hold out my hand and then keep it steady. But I think what really impressed them was the fact that I didn't turn into a monster. Now, can I please?
Fine. Back there, you can find a spot. And here. Tear out a few pages.
There's not going to be anything bad in here?
Just you.
Oh, funny.
All right. Well, that is clearly the hot new Last of Us show on HBO Max.
Yep, and I was thinking about doing something else for recommendals, and it's only 3 episodes in. Everybody's talking about it. It seemed like too easy of a pick,
Yeah.
But I picked it for 2 reasons. First, I keep seeing questions from people that are asking, like, if I've never played the game before, will I like this show? Should I watch it? And I have never played the game before.
Oh.
Me neither.
Oh, great.
Great, yeah, and I haven't watched any streams. I barely know anything about the game, so I thought I could be a good perspective on that for people who might have that question floating around in their head. And the second reason is because even 3 episodes in, it is amazing.
Yeah.
It is an amazing show. 30 minutes into the first episode, I was already in tears. It's so good. It's such a great show.
3rd episode is the best hour of TV I've seen in years.
Yes, that is absolutely true.
And I'll just say they should give Offerman an Emmy. Like, just do it. The other guy, too. The other guy is amazing.
This is the 3rd consecutive week I've said this, and I think I should just now say this on every episode of TMS that I'm on. Just give Craig Mazin all the Emmys. Like from now on, if Craig Mazin makes something, he just gets all the Emmys. That's just how it's going to be.
Yeah. The other, and to your point about whether you played the game or not, everyone's like, the video game to TV or movie curse is lifted, which I take issue with because this is a cheat in a good way. This game is mostly about a narrative that's really well told and really intensely told and all of that. So the moving from game format to this format is almost like
also you can't
automatic.
say it's lifted like for the 7th time. Like I think we should call that off with Arcane. Like that's the point where we say, all right,
exactly.
There's no more curse.
Yeah, I mean, you could argue Sonic was a good movie. You could argue
sure. Detective Pikachu was awesome.
Yeah, and I loved what's the one with like the Castlevania anime was amazing. Like there's a lot of stuff, and you say, well, how about live action? Well, there's lots of examples of that too. I think that,
but also Scott saying that they were starting with a game that was already basically a narrative, I don't think is giving the creators of the show enough credit, because this is sort of a double mental. I've never done this before, but I decided to do it with this one. You know how HBO shows always have like a companion podcast that goes with it?
Yeah.
I decided to listen to the one for this show this time, and they talk.
Troy Baker hosts that, right? I think they got the voice of Joel in the game. Anyway, keep going.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly. And so it's him, Troy Baker, and Craig Mazin and Neil Druckmann, who are those last 2 names are the creators, and they talk a lot about the decision making process of how they made things different, what they thought about. How they're very clearly trying to think about an audience that is not familiar with the game. They made a lot of storytelling decisions to depart from the game for very good reasons, all the way down to how you meet the girl in that show, Ellie. Her character is very different from the game, and they talk about that and why they made that decision. And it has to do with, they're thinking about things like when you're playing a game, you are embodying the main character, Joel. So you are Joel. But as a viewer of the show, you are not Joel.
Yeah.
You are you watching these things happen. So the experience is very different, and they're very aware of that.
Their adaptation is obviously really strong here. I mean, Druckmann, VP at Naughty Dog, created this game in the first place. Super smart, creative dude. But I think it's Mazin who's, stepped in and said, look, this is how this has got to go. And I agree with everything they've done. As a fan of both mediums, I think that they've killed it. And the way that episode 3 is basically them taking a thing that's barely alluded to in the game and blowing it up and saying, here are those 20 years. Let's really look at them. And it made some massive changes to how some of that turns out. But it's so incredibly intimate and interesting and incredibly well acted and just blew my frickin' mind.
Yeah,
it's
the acting is amazing. So Joel, which is the main character. So for anybody who is not familiar with the game, it's a very simple premise. It's a zombie apocalypse premise, and that's basically what you need to know. Joel, who is the main character, is Pedro Pascal. He's a smuggler, and he's been tasked with taking the girl, who's Bella Ramsey, who you know from Game of Thrones. He has to take her to a place outside of the quarantine zone where they are in, and she's important because apparently, and this is all revealed in the first episode. It's not really spoilers. She's apparently somehow immune to this infection.
Yeah.
So that's very important. She needs to be transported. And Joel is not doing it out of the kindness of his own heart. He's got his own motivations. And so, as you might expect, things don't go according to plan.
Yeah.
But the acting, you're right, is amazing. Anna Torv is also.
Oh yeah, it took me It took me like most of that episode, first episode, for me to realize who that was, because I was like, "Gosh dang it, I know her. Why do I know her?" And then I was like, "Oh, freaking Mindhunter and that sci-fi show from years ago, Fringe." It's like, of course that's her, and she's always good in everything, and she's so good in this that she melted into it, and I just forgot who she was. She's so good.
It's got all the hallmarks of really good zombie stories. Like the zombies aren't really the real focus, they just are creating the tension to tell stories about the real bad people in the world, which are other people.
Yeah.
And they talk about on this podcast even that in a strange way, this whole show is an exploration of love and relationships.
Yeah.
And
that's
boy,
what
do they have every kind of loving relationship, and good and bad.
Here's what I like about it. It's that, but it's doing it. Walking Dead. Okay, my problem with Walking Dead was, as much as I enjoyed parts of Walking Dead, my biggest problem with Walking Dead was it was just black and white. It was like we're a few survivors that sort of trust each other, but the rest of everyone else sucks. Everyone else sucks. There's nobody who's any good. Even if you meet someone you think is good, they are not good, or they're going to die right away. Like, it was a very dour view of humanity.
Mm-hmm.
This show already, and the game to some degree, is already better at bringing out the humanity and saying, no, there are these points of light. There are these people where kindness matters first, or commitment matters more, or whatever. And that for me really is what sets this apart outside of other movies in the genre.
Even more than that, they aren't just painting this rosy picture of love conquers all. That's not the point. They're talking about how love can bring you to do terrible things, and that everyone they talk about how everyone, like most people, their motivation, when you boil it down, comes down to some sort of love of some type, and they want to explore that, right? Even the bad guys, even the zombies, in a way. Scott,
you've got to listen to this podcast. You will love this podcast. It starts with Neil Druckmann kind of like looking around, wishing that someone would make a TV show out of this thing, and he can't ever find a place for it. And Craig Mazin comes along and loves the video game. And Craig Mazin says to Neil Druckmann, "Are you kidding? I can get a meeting with HBO. Let's go." And the next day, HBO is just agreeing to anything Craig Mazin wants to do. It's just like it's so happy.
I assume that was in the glow of how well Chernobyl did for him over there.
Absolutely.
And that is, oh man, if you haven't seen that yet, you got to watch that too. But it's
So
really
if
good.
you are asking that question, should you watch it? I've never played the game. Should I watch it? I don't know anything about the games. I'm loving it. I definitely don't feel like I'm missing anything or finding it difficult to understand things. They're doing a great job. And if you don't like zombie stuff, obviously there's a lot of zombie scary stuff going on in there. Lots of that. But
but I would actually say there's less of that than I expected. Like there's some,
and the zombies are beautiful.
Oh no, they're crazy. It's crazy. They're mushroom people. I mean, they're even their origin of where this thing came from. Oh, that's the other thing I really like about it. The game doesn't do these flashbacks where we're in the 60s and two experts are on a TV show talking about the potential of this thing jumping between humans and fungi or whatever. That wasn't in the games, but man, is that stuff really good. Like so, like world building and just makes you feel like this hot fire of like what really went down, instead of just, well, I'm in the game and I'm playing and I got to make sure to headshot these guys and not run out of ammo. It's good. It's the right format, and I love it. All right, excellent stuff. That's HBO Max. They're on episode 3. Episode 4 airs this weekend. Here is mine. Much lighter note. All right. This just landed on Netflix this week. and I couldn't be more happy. Here's my clip.
What's ironic about Jesus Christ becoming a carpenter was he was actually named after the 2 words you're most likely to shout after hitting your thumb with a hammer.
Scholars believe he was a real historical figure, like Justin Timberlake or Garfield.
Whether or not they think he was the actual Son of God who performed miracles, like walking on wine or helping a deaf man see, they all agree he preached tolerance and forgiveness, a message so important his most ardent followers would eventually start killing anyone who didn't want to hear it.
All right. So
I feel like we've already recommended this 100 times, and I cannot prove it. It looks like we have never recommended
We've never done it because it's hard to get. I mean, the BBC app, I guess, had a bunch of it. There's some stuff on YouTube. I was made aware of it through TikTok shorts where they just cut out bits of this stuff. But this is Kunk on Earth. Which is this, I got to pull up her name because I always forget her name. Hold on a second.
You need to.
Diane Morgan.
There it is, yeah. Diane Morgan. She's an amazing comedian. You've seen her in a bunch of Ricky Gervais stuff. But she's done a whole bunch of these. Kunk on Britain, Kunk on Shakespeare. She plays a character called Philomena Kunk doing these sort of fake documentaries where she's just learning the history of things. She's another funny stuff, like Mandy is really funny. She's just a very interesting woman, and she narrates this entire thing and talks about that. There are 5 episodes on Netflix, or maybe it's 5, I think. I burned through them all yesterday because I loved it so much. It's really funny stuff, and they cover everything from the origins of religion, the origins of warfare, technology, where we are today on the final episode. It's basically just like a history of our planet and of humanity, told by this really dry, droll sort of, wit of a British person presenting it. And she really doesn't know anything. And her observations are always ridiculous and funny. And she sits down with real experts in the field she's talking about who, a little bit like Borat, are sort of just fielding these questions and not really prepared for them. They don't know why she asked such a dumb question, and they kind of have to stumble around to answer it. Here's the weird thing about it. It's meant to be satire, obviously. It's meant to be funny. But it comes off as almost better than like History Channel documentaries. And I can't really explain why. It's like she's subverting it, teaching you something about history, but doing it from this ignorant place. And I feel like you actually learn a little more, because they do always explain the real thing. Like the expert will go, well, no, that's not how volcanoes work. Actually, this and this and that. So they tell you real things, but she's always asking it in the stupidest way possible. And it's wonderful. I love it. And I can't get enough of it.
And you should watch Kunk on Britain. They're all on YouTube, at least in the States. I have watched everything she's ever done because it's just all on YouTube.
Yeah. It's all really good.
Kunk on Britain is so funny.
I've seen clips from it, but never full episodes. I need to get over there.
It has quickly become legendary, that little series.
Well, it's this is a lot of that. It is Netflix. I hope this means more of it's coming. It's currently being universally lauded. Oh, and you guys know the song "Pump Up the Jam" from the '80s. Pump up the jam, pump it up, get your body moving. That thing. I don't want to give away why that song matters for this documentary series, but you need to freaking watch it, because that song from Technotronic or whatever will now be forever burned in your mind in about 100 different ways. I can't even explain it. You just have to see it. Kunk on Earth, amazing. And
just imagine if she makes a Kunk on America. Oh my gosh.
Oh, there's got to be. Like, and this thing includes a bunch of, like, Civil War stuff and American World War II American stuff, and how the nuclear bomb worked and what we did to get it made and all that. So she covers a lot of American stuff, but they keep it real straight laced too. Like, it's beautifully filmed, like lots of soft background focus, beautiful outside shots. She's in Italy and Ireland and all these places, and it just comes off as an incredibly well made, sort of expensive BBC production. But she's a total Nimrod and made me laugh harder than I've laughed in a long time. So if you're in the mood to laugh.
I'm so glad it's streaming and you recommended it. Like I say, it's so funny. And I just feel like we already recommended it, so it's good to get it out there.
Yeah, it's really, really good. Anyway, there are your recommendations for the week, and these will all be up on quicktms.li. If not in full yet, they will be later when Brian's done with his appointment because he puts those up. And I can't wait to see what you guys bring next week. That'll be a lot of fun. Nicole, thanks for being with us. Oh, she's muted.
Yeah, I made it.
You made it. Woohoo! Have a great week. Brandy, you have the same damn good week, and we'll see you soon. Hey, Bobby, guess what? That's
the end?
The end of the show, pretty much. There's a couple things here. Let's just rip through the final dregs of today's program. Play Retro tonight, all right? It's at 3:30 Mountain Time. Normally it's on Tuesdays. We bumped it to Wednesday this week for reasons. Don't have to get into them. But we're doing that tonight. And I can't wait. So if you want to hang out with me and Brian Dunaway again, then tonight at 3:30 Mountain Time at frogpants.tv is where the live show will be, or you can get the podcast wherever you get your shows. And we'll be back to a normal show tomorrow. Brian will be back. We'll probably have a story or two about his physical therapy. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe it all went well and there was nothing to talk about. I don't know. I don't know until he gets here. But it'll be exciting to find out. Patreon.com/TMS is where you can support your favorite show. Please do. We would love it. It's a brand new month. No better time to get no commercials ever. Our couch parties on the weekend. The pre-show content every day, including today. Me and Bobby did some pre-show. It was great.
Yeah.
So do check it out. That's patreon.com/TMS. Bobby, make sure you tell people at home where they can find you when you're not here, because you do a pretty good science podcast, I hear.
Yep, the science podcast I do is called All Around Science, and we cover science stuff every week, just stuff in the news or what we're thinking about and interested in, and we take questions from listeners and all that kind of stuff. So if you like science even a little bit, because we try to approach it from a non-scientist perspective, and we try to break it down for you, then check out All Around Science.
Nice. Do that. You won't regret it. All right, to get out of here, I'm going to do some music. Again, I don't have proper songs today, so I'm doing video game tracks that I really like. And I wanted to contrast that kind of softer, middler bit that we did earlier with something a little more hardcore. Many of you know I'm a huge fan of the Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal soundtracks, which were done by an amazing musician named Mick Gordon. And they're very heavy metal-y sort of approaches to the Doom stuff, but it really fits and really works for me, and I really like this stuff. And so I'm going to play one of those. This is the Doom 2016 original soundtrack and the track called Rip and Tear. That'll do it for us. We'll see you guys tomorrow. This show is part of the Frog Pants Network.
Frog Pants Network.
Get more shows like this at frogpants.com.
I have no time for you.
Oh, well then, forget it. I guess that's the end of you there, buddy. Have you heard this song before? It's so good. Listen to this part of it. Yeah, dude. Listen to this bit right here. This build up right here. This part right here is like total crescendo. Oh, I love it so much.
Did you ever watch that? What was that old Adult Swim show? Was it Metalocalypse?
Oh, I loved Metalocalypse.